Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am gonna do my mid-year review of my reading. I'm not gonna do the mid-year free guide book tag, even though I know that's really popular and people really like that. But I want to do another thing because I have this reading journal which I got in my Carrion in December. And in the end there's this mid-year review questions and I just wanted to answer those and then just talk a bit about my reading, I guess. I don't know why I decided to go on like this, but I just did. So we're rolling with it. It's been 6 months of the year, so we are halfway through. I lost the mid-year review. I think that this is my best reading year of my entire life, in the amount of books I read at least. I have read, as I'm filming this, 124 books this year. Last year I think I read 121. So I have read more books on 6 months than I read the whole of last year. What the heck happened? I read a lot in January and February because I didn't have school. Since I didn't have school, I decided that I'm just gonna read as much as possible. I also knew I was going to Japan in March, so in my mind I think there went on this switch where I realized that I'm gonna be leaving my books and that I need to read as many of them as possible before leaving. I think it just happened in my head. I've never read that much in a month before. Like in January I read 30 books and in February I read 34. Like granted, a lot of the books I have read has been really short, and some people would complain and be like, oh, no, that doesn't count, but I'm not listening to those people. Fuck those people. My worst reading month this year has been April, where I read 10 books, which is still quite a lot. While last year I had like, I think a month where I read like 4 books or even 3, at least 4. So clearly I am like on a super roll this year and I love it. I love it so much. I think my amount of reading has a lot to do with goals and me pushing myself, and of course reading is all about enjoyment and an amount to read shouldn't matter, but since reading makes me so happy and when I push myself to read more, I am more happy. The more I read, the less I read, I feel like a failure and I'm like, but I wish I was reading. So like me prioritizing reading in my life doesn't hurt anyone. Let's answer these questions. The first question is favorite book of the year so far. The one I'm going with here is Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Now since I read so many books, it feels like I read this like years ago because it's so many books ago, but it is seriously just beautiful and I love it so much. Also like the sequel, they come together, they are a pair. Stranger Dreamer follows Last of Strange, who was like raised by monks, and when he gets old enough he goes into to work at the library and he studies this city called Weep. Wow, my voice is weird. The city called Weep is not called Weep because the name disappeared magically and he doesn't know why, and he's trying to find the name, he's trying to find if it's actually real, when these writers from the actual city comes out and needs help with it and they bring people back and he's of the ones chosen to go back there. We find out of course what's going on and it's just mind-blowing and beautiful, and we have this mystery of what happened to Weep, what's in there, what's going on, and answers to this question is just, I could never imagine it. Maybe I'm stupid, but I just couldn't. I love the characters, I love the world, I love the writing was so beautiful, the books are beautiful. I was sitting there in awe the whole time. I cannot speak highly enough of these books. I knew I was gonna like them, but I did not know they were gonna be this good, and I would recommend them to the ends of the earth, and I want to reread them like now. Even though I read them like, was it in January? Yes, in January, but I'm holding myself back a bit to use a bit of time on other books. So good. I realized that I'm probably excluding rereads from these questions because my answers would probably be a bit different, because then I would choose like my all-time favorite books. Stranger Dreamer is one of my all-time favorite books from now. The next question was a book that made you laugh, and for this I cannot choose anything else than A Word Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This one is like a spin-off book from The Mortal Instruments, and it is set between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels. Malik, aka Magnus and Alec from the series, goes on this European trip and we found out what really happened there. Magnus is accused of starting this demon cult, and it is full of cuteness, badass scenes, and actually a really interesting plot, and the humor here was just so on point. I was laughing and smiling the whole time, and which is why when I read this question it was the first book I thought of, and I listened to it on audiobook and the narrator was just beautiful. Yes. The next question is a book that made you cry. Now, I have always thought about myself as a person who does not cry that much when reading, but apparently I became a soppy kid and then I realized that I cry a lot while reading. I could have I think, a few answers for this, but the one I'm going with is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Abid Khorram. This is also one of my all-time favorite books this year. All of the books I talk about so far is. This one is about Darius, who is struggling with depression, and his grandpa gets sick. They go to Iran, where his mother is from, and then he gets to know his family. He also meets his first real friend, Soram. He has this complicated relationship with his father, which is so deep and pure and explored so well. Darius himself is just such a real and wonderful character, and there's food and culture and family, and I just love this book so much. I am so surprised that I love this so much, because like I usually don't fall this deeply in love with all contemporaries. I can't even talk about it, but I cry like a baby in the end. I was sitting reading and I was crying, the tears were rolling. I absolutely love this book so much, and I cannot stop recommending this to anyone. Be aware that tears might start rolling, because it was written so well that I couldn't stop them, and I want to reread this too, god damn it. So the next question is a new author you love. The obvious answer would be Laini Taylor, Abid Khorram, because you know, I love their books. I would read anything by them. I'm gonna read Daughter of a Smoking Bun soon. Waiting patiently for a new book by Abid Khorram. I don't want to answer the same thing. I think the answer I'm going with here is Anna Marie McLemore, really, because she writes beautifully. Her writing is so beautiful and lyrical and flowery, and I know this doesn't always work for everyone, and sometimes it does get a bit heavy, but I loved it still. I feel like reading really beautiful long poetry. I read 2 books by her in June and I loved both of them. I own like all 4 of her books like physically at home, and I read 2 of them now on Kindle, and I just found it ironic that I own all of them before reading them, but I just knew I was gonna like it, and I did. So definitely a new author I love, and as I said, I will read other books I have by her and anything else she releases, because she also writes about queer kids. Who doesn't want to read about that in beautiful writing? Name a book you really want to read this year. So many. I'm excited for books constantly. My life is being excited for books, but if I was gonna choose one book, just one, it wasn't that hard to choose one, because this is like my most anticipated release for a long time. That is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. Carrion is one of my favorite books of all time. Came out in 2015. Loved it to death. When the sequel was announced, I screamed. When it was pushed forward to this year, I screamed. It is coming really soon. I don't have words for how excited I am for it. That this is one of my most anticipated release this year, there's no doubt about it. When I recently reread Carrion, I realized that there's still unanswered questions, and I have a feeling that we will get all those answered in the sequel, and I can't wait for it. Okay, I'm so excited, and yay. The next question is your current read. I don't think this will be accurate answer for when I actually post this video, but it is now the 2nd of July. I started Bienes Historia by Maja Lunde. This is a Norwegian release, an adult book, and I don't know what happened to me, but I bought this by accident on my library ebook app, and I was like, fine, I would just read it soon. So I read it at the first opportunity. I wanted to read it now in this month because I didn't want to read it in Prime month, and it's about like bees and their status, about the environment, I guess, and how we treat things, and like that the bees are gone. It's totally like 3 different timelines. It's in English as well, and it's called The History of the Bees, but basically one of them is told in old days when bees are still existing, one in like 2007 when do also bee farm, and in the future where the bees are gone, and there is this girl in China, they have to work to move the pollen around. I'm not actually sure what is going on because I only read 100 pages, but I am guessing it will intellect, and I have heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm excited. The other book I'm reading is The Stormrunner by G.C. Cervantes, and this one I listened to audiobook. This is one of the books in Rick Riordan Presents, based on Mayan mythology. I have listened to like an hour as I'm filming this, and I'm really enjoying it, but I will talk more about it obviously in my wrap up and stuff later. Favorite character of the year so far? I would say Laszlo Strange from Strange to Dreamer, but since I'm not gonna go with the same answer again, I am gonna think. I don't fall in love with characters like I used to. I feel like I can go with Esun from the 5th season. This is a fantasy book. We get to know her, but it's sort of spoilery why I enjoyed her so much. I just loved getting to know her and her story, and I really enjoyed her character. So that's all I'm gonna say. Read a book to find out more about her, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give anything away. Really great answer for that one. Going to the next one. Least favorite character of the year so far. I hated one book this year. I haven't hated a book this much since a really long time ago. And I hate Everyone But You. We have Awa, and I don't like her. I mean, I feel bad for her because she suffers from depression and anxiety. Didn't like her because she was really biphobic. Her best friend says she likes girls, and she is like, oh, so you're lesbian now? And then she says that she still likes boys, and she's like, oh, so you're straight again? And she, like, even when the best friend told her that she was a thing called bisexual exists, she just didn't get it, and it's bothered me a lot. Okay, so I didn't like her at all, and I guess that's my least favorite character of the whole year. Great. A genre you want to read more of this year, and for this I would say adult fantasy. Now I know I read a lot of fantasy. Fantasy is my favorite genre after all, but I read a lot of YA fantasy. I love YA, but there are so many adult fantasy books that I want to read that I never get to because they are intimidating as fuck. They are like thick and hard to read, but there's just some series I really want to get to, like Nevernight, and finish some Robin Hobb books, and maybe start on Patrick Rothfuss. Probably not gonna happen, but I'm like in the middle of a reread of Game of Thrones. I didn't finish that either, so I just generally feel like I love fantasy. I talk about it a lot, but I don't read enough adult fantasy because there's so many I want to get to, and I don't have any excuses. There's just so many in that genre I want to read. And the next question is a book that surprised you, and for that I will go with one of my other favorites this year. This is basically just me talking about my favorites this year video. Oh my god. So my favorites video by the end of the year would just be all the same books, unless I read of course new favorites after this. Oh my god. But that one would be 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. This one I knew I was gonna like, perhaps, like I hoped of course I was gonna like it, but I'd be surprised. I didn't think I would fall completely in love with it. It was just so good. This one follows Beck, who is a musician, and his mother is a maestro, and she's crazy and abusive and awful, and he meets August, who is sunshine, and just makes his world colorful. And the book is heartbreaking and sad, but just so pretty. Yes, I probably cried reading this as well, let's be real. It was so complex and good, and I'm so surprised that this is a debut, and I love it to death. Okay, so just recommend it so much. And I feel like when you say you're surprised by a book, it can sound kind of negative, but in this I just mean it in all the best ways, because I just literally was just, my mind was just whoop, and 5 stars, and that really happens. And the last question we have is your next read, and I actually know this even though I don't actually plan. You didn't see that. This We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. I realized I have dirt on the book. No, what the fuck? It's gone now. I got this in my Owlcrate that I got for my birthday, and it was one of my anticipated releases this year. I wanted to read it as soon as I got it, but then it was Prime Month, so I put it on hold until now. Because I had to read the freaking library book first to read that as fast as possible. This came second. So I'm probably gonna start this week, actually. So I'm most likely reading this when this video goes up, if I'm calculating correctly in my head. And I'm very excited. Yay. It's so pretty. So that was actually all the questions for the mid-year review. 124 books. Can I reach 150? Most likely yes. But can I reach 200? You will see in the next episode of how much does Sandra read. If you have any questions about my reading, then don't hesitate to ask me. I just don't know what more to talk about. And you will see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!